Together on three. 1, 2, 3. Together. 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 Together on three. 1, 2, 3. Together.
The Tommy Watson Coaches Show over here at Fox's Pizza right here in Pine Mountain. Coach, you said this summer we talked about doing the coaches show. You said that a whole lot funner when you win.
Absolutely.
When you win like you do on Friday night, it makes it a little more special with that game. But man, this was a great win last week. Showed a lot of character on your team. So
Yep.
just go ahead and talk about that, just your players and coaching staff.
Yeah, you know, I felt like last Friday night and a couple times this year already, I felt like what we do as a program and as the culture we try to build has come out a couple weeks ago against Daughter when we was down and come back and won. And then Friday night we couldn't catch a break. Nothing was going our way. And just keep fighting, man. That's what we build our program on is having outstanding great culture and toughness and discipline and for it to show up and us to pull through and fight back in a game like that, I was very proud of what we stand for, what our program stands for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great comeback. Now, we'll talk a little bit more about that, but I believe it's 29-14, and Northside has the ball in the red zone. Looking like they was going to open the third quarter with a scoring drive, and Carter Myers recovers a fumble. And it just seemed like that was a little bit of momentum. Y'all just started stacking those type of momentum plays up. And next thing you know, you're walking out there with a victory, coming back to Hamilton for that.
Right.
And the biggest thing, you lost the home opener, region opener. and you went on the road to win a
Yep.
region game.
Yes,
It
sir.
kind of offset it, kind of made it back in there. Region game this weekend and also homecoming. But as we go into the Griffin weekend, it's not saying do or die type thing for the region, but when you're looking at the region standings, it's a pretty big game
No
this
doubt.
weekend against Griffin.
Yeah, it is. You know, Griffin is they're a much improved football team. They have a new coaching staff. He's a Griffin alum, and so he's getting some of the Griffin kids back that they had lost maybe to Spalding County or whatnot. He does a phenomenal job. He's a defensive guy, and they played really good football this year. They beat a really good Westover team and beat them pretty soundly. But you know, they're very athletic. They're very fast. And it's a challenge, and then we fight the battle of it being homecoming. You know, the distractions throughout the week, the dress-up days at school. You know, the big dance coming up after the game. So, but there's a lot on the line. Make no mistake about it, this game has a lot of impact on the state playoffs and the region seeding. So, we need to come out and play well for 4 quarters, not 3 or not 2, and so hopefully we'll show up and play well.
Yeah, now you mentioned a little bit about the homecoming. It is homecoming, so there's going to be a larger crowd. It's always the biggest crowd we get. But the halftime is always a little longer than normal. How do you, as a coach, how do you handle that with your players? Because they're so regimental each halftime, each game the same way, a halftime like this.
Well, sometimes you don't want halftime to come because you're playing well, and then sometimes you can't wait for it to get there. So, you know, at the point we're at, as young as we are, and as you know, we're gaining experience every Friday with the youth we got, but we will take all the extra time we can get at halftime. So we're kind of looking maybe at being a little excited about that because, again, our youth and our experience gives us more time to make adjustments and not being in such a hurry. So that don't really bother us. Either way, we're good, but we like having a little extra time if at all possible.
It's fun with the game last year with Griffin. The homecoming ceremony is always fun the whole week coming in. They've been having a good time at school. Last week, you kind of had a new player kind of emerge, somebody to look forward to this weekend, Matthew Love. I wanted you to kind of talk on him and, you know, he's a wrestler, wrestling background, and just how he's, you know, just evolved just this season.
Yeah, we call him Waterbug, you know, off the movie Friday Night Lights. But Matt's been with us since he's been in 8th grade since I got here, or he was 7th grader when I got here. He's been on our program ever since, and you can't say enough about him. He works so hard. You know, he's not a big fella, but man, pound for pound, he's probably the strongest kid on the football team. He's fast, he's elusive, he's tough. There's a lot of good things to say about him. He finished in our top 10 in the Ironman this year, so it was good to see the hard work he's been putting in pay off. And you know, I told you a few minutes ago, he does what he did Friday night. He does that every JV game. He runs up and down the field, and I'm just glad he's on our team. And you know, early on he was playing wide out for us. You know, we got a little banged up at running back and didn't really have a solidified running back. He come to me and wanted to play running back. And I said, sure, it can't hurt. And so the rest is history, but super excited about him. He's only a junior. Super excited the rest of this season and next year with him as well. He did a really good job for us for sure.
And, you know, another player we've talked about before, you know, Preston Jenkins, he's the long snapper, recovered that muff punt. He also got the interception at the end of the game on the deflection, saw him with a couple turnovers. We thought Carter had it. I mean, it's so many different players that it took for a game. You know, when you come back and win like that, it's not just riding on one player. There's so many different players. But on defense and on offense, Jalen Robinson, just the play of him, and just kind of talk about him a little bit.
Yeah, no doubt. Another sophomore, man. It's, you know, he's got as much God-given ability as probably anybody I've ever coached. You know, and he's what I call a ball man. Somebody, you know, like for instance, Rand Ogletree was a ball man. When the ball's in the air, he thinks it belongs to him, and he goes gets it. And Jalen's the same way. And you know, Jalen's forced into a tough role this year. He plays both ways. He starts in the middle of the field safety for us. He starts a wide out. He's on some kick return teams, so there's no telling how many plays he plays on a Friday night. But man, he accepts it. He goes about it, and he does it, and he works hard. You know, Jalen. I will say this about Jalen. We have a lot of kids that like football, that want to be a part, but I truly believe that Jalen Robinson loves football. I really believe that. I mean that when I say it. You know, a lot of people like it. Some people dislike it, but Jalen loves football. Without football, I'm not sure what he'd do, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he had a great game. And then somebody else on defense said, you know, we hadn't talked about he had injuries and he came back during the Notre game. Damon Brooks, and you know, he's kind of brought a little bit of the edge of that defensive back unit.
Yeah.
And it's been fun to see just how they, you know, even Jalen, some of them guys kind of reacted when he come in there and the energy he's brought on the DBs and the wide receivers room.
Yeah, you know, Damon's he's been with me again since he was in 6th, 7th grade as well. His brother was a great player for us, Demetrius. You know, that's Coach D-Rock. That's his nephew. But look, them Brooks fellas, they are phenomenal human beings. They have a great mom and a great daddy that make them do right and make them act right. And man, he is a first-class individual like everybody in his family, and he is probably top 2, 3, 4 hardest working kids in our program. And we were super glad to get him back, man. And every week he's knocking a little rust off. You know, he went from he got hurt in spring practice in late April or early May. He had surgery and he was out May, June, July, August, and we got to get him back. So he was out 5 weeks. So look, I'm telling you, he has not reached nowhere near as good as he's going to be by the time he gets a couple more games of experience on it, knocking that rust off, getting back in shape. And he's another kid that plays both ways for us. That's a junior, and so proud to have him back, no doubt about it.
Yeah, it's fun. His first game back, he had about a 40-yard reception on offense, but last week he just put some good tackles out there, put some hits out there on him, and you can kind of see just that confidence coming back after, coming back from an injury. And it's fun to see. Now, we mentioned earlier we got homecoming this week, so if you're coming to the game, come a little early because it is going to be a pretty packed house. And you got to come early anyway because we need to have the energy, need to have that, that energy in the stadium it creates. We saw it against Manchester, against Daugherty, it was there, and the players fed off of it. How about that crowd on the road at Connect? We was looking, getting everything set up about 15 minutes before kickoff. Man, ain't nobody here from Harris County. Then when it kicked off, it was pretty much a packed house on that side of the stadium. And what did your players kind of feed off of?
Yeah, there's no doubt. They did. And we don't need them if they come into the game. We need you at the game.
Absolutely.
Not me. The boys need the football players, the band, the cheerleaders. They need you at the game, all supporting and helping Tiger Nation get the win. But no doubt. I say it every week. The kids they feed off the energy of the crowd. And I don't know if you've seen Friday night 3 or 4 times. I was telling the coaches and myself in the sideline, man, wave your hands up in the air to get the crowd. It's okay to stand up and cheer and be proud of what we got. Because I promise you, I don't care if it's NFL, college, high school, rec league, that energy that comes from the bleachers, that means something to the people out there playing. I guarantee you, whether you think it does or not, the players feel that. And I would encourage anybody to come out and stand up, hoop and holler and cheer.
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't been to a game this year, this is the one to come to with homecoming. It's the great atmosphere, but just the energy that always seems to resonate. And I mean, I think a couple of years ago, Sandy Creek was the homecoming game.
Yep.
And just the energy from that crowd, really fell into the game. And it feels like a small college type atmosphere when you have that kind of a crowd, which can always pack out good for homecoming. And I don't see why this would be any different. The excitement in the air, everything going on with homecoming right here in Harris County. But if you do come, you got to be loud.
Got to be.
You got to be loud. It's all about the energy we're bringing. The atmosphere's been a lot different at the games. The pregame, everything's been cranked up a notch.
Yeah.
It's a little different with the video board.
New scoreboard, yep.
The Snyders have a new playlist come in with the music, so it's kind of got more energy.
Yeah.
The players enjoy it more. And I think it's more leaning towards the students and the players. And that's how it should be. It's there, they get to enjoy it for 4 years.
Sure.
And then they come back, they'll be alum. But as they're in there, I think the whole environment for the game day environment for these students has been lifted up. And I've loved to see it progress over the last couple of years.
No doubt. I mean, and don't give up on our kids. I mean, there's 2 games that it looked like we were done. We were down for the count. And, man, just a little spark got them up. We come back and won 2 games. So that's what I teach our kids, our team, our program, our players, is you never know what's around the corner. You never know what's behind that door. You never know what's going to happen the next play. So play the next play. Walk around the corner. Walk through the door. You never know what's waiting on the other side. I tell them all the time, how you know in 5 years now you ain't going to be in the NFL? You don't know. But if you don't continue to take those steps and fight and finish and compete, I can tell you what's going to happen. Absolutely nothing. So keep moving forward. Keep fighting. Keep scrapping. And ultimately, one day you're going to turn out and become a winner.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at the 2 games earlier in the season, a lot of teams would have just rolled over right then and just said, hey, let's nail it in the last 7, 8 games. But this team just kept fighting. Even after those 2 games, then you look at halftime into the game after that. I mean, a lot of teams, but this team is the culture that, I could say it for you, the culture that you've created over there with your coaching staff and these players now coming through the system, they know not to quit. And you can see them every game just keep battling. Even the Jonesboro game, when it started, they just keep fighting. You love seeing that. And right now we're at the teeth of the schedule. We're at this region part that these games matter, people, and these are the ones setting up the playoff seeding, which is a big deal. So, that's how important these games are.
So yeah, no doubt, man. So we need everybody in Harris County to come out and support Friday night. And you know, it's not about me. It's not about football. It's about Harris County. In the story. Show up, show out, be loud.
Yeah, if you live up here, if you're alumni, obviously you got to come up here at homecoming. But even if you're not, you're up here, you want to see what it's all about in the county. You come up here, you're going to get treated, you know, like family up here in the county. It's all one big, you know, family environment. So come up here, kickoff's at 7:30 against Griffin homecoming. They're going to have the big ceremony at halftime. So we're about to cut out of here. Coach, I appreciate your time this week. I know you're about to get down there. We got some of the players in here chowing down on pizza, wiping out foxes right now. So we're going to get out of here. So for Coach Watson, it's been Rick Beach. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Together on